Y'all, so I got my tubes tied when I had my last baby in 2020. And so in my mind, I'm like, okay, I got my tubes tied. Later on down the line, if I want to, I can get them reversed. This is just what I'm thinking. Now, when you get your tubes reversed, no, it's not like 100% chance that you'll get pregnant again. But I'm like, down the line, I can untie my tubes. At the time, though, when I made the decision to tie my tubes, that was the best decision for me at that time, right? Me and my husband was not in a good place, and there was no way in hell I was finna mess around and get a new baby daddy. Oh, I'm not doing that. Or lay down and have another baby when I barely like him. Okay, boom. So 4 years passed, and I'm like, okay, well, let me go to the doctor and see what's the process to like untie my tubes, like what can I do, right? So I go to the doctor. I call my OBGYN. They tell me to go to the doctor who performed the procedure, which was not my actual doctor because I went to a different hospital than the one I was supposed to go to. So there was a doctor on call. Okay, cool. So my paperwork that I signed says tubal ligation. If I'm wrong, please tell me if I'm wrong. But when I searched it up, tubal ligation could be tied, clipped, burnt, something, but tubes are still there. Okay. So I go to the office of the doctor who did my procedure. When I get to the office, he tells me he did a bilateral salpingectomy. And I'm like, what's that? He was like, oh, I completely removed your tubes, so it reduces the chance of ovarian cancer. And I was like, what do you mean you completely removed them? So I can't untie my tubes? He's like, no, I removed them. I said, but who signed and when did I say that? He goes, oh, you signed the paperwork for it. And I was like, yeah, I signed the paperwork for tubal ligation. I didn't say completely remove my tubes at all to where like down the line I can't untie them. Mind you, this is not my original OBGYN. This is not my original doctor. So I said, can you show me the paperwork where I signed for a bilateral salpingectomy? Because tubal ligation, when I searched that up, it do not say completely removal of both fucking tubes. This man told me he removed both of my fucking tubes. So he go get the paperwork. And I'm like, okay, this tubal ligation right here. This is my name. This is my doctor name. Tubal ligation. Tubal ligation. Tubal. I don't see remove both tubes nowhere on all three of these papers you just went and printed. Now, I could be wrong. I'm like, can you please explain that to me? Because I was under the impression that I was just getting my tubes tied, a clip on them or something. So you're telling me basically I can't have kids anymore unless I go do IVF. Who has 15, 10,000, however many dollars it is per round to try to have a baby? Now, it wasn't a big deal because I did make the decision to tie my tubes, yes. But I'm still trying to figure out who said to remove my tubes. What if I wanted to have a baby later on down the line? So he showed me the paperwork, y'all. He wrote in bilateral salpingectomy and he signed his name. That was not on the original paperwork. I said, I didn't. So you performed my surgery 5/31/2020. You wrote on my paperwork bilateral salpingectomy 5/31/2020. This paper he brung to me that I had already signed with my doctor was like 3 months before that. And it had no bilateral salpingectomy on there at all. So I'm sitting there and I'm really upset because I'm like, there goes that. I don't have 10,000, 15, none of that for IVF. None of that. And that's if it works the first round. And I was livid. Y'all don't even understand because what the fuck? And I just kept asking him. I said, so my only option now is IVF. And he was like, well, if you wanted to have a baby, why you just didn't get on birth control or, just strap up, just protect yourself? I said, that was 4 years ago. At 4 years ago, at the time that I was in that moment, I was sure I wanted my tubes tied. I also was under the impression that I could untie them later on down the line. He was like, yeah, but that don't always work. I know it doesn't always work, but there's a chance that it might. You're telling me I don't even have tubes. So I have to go and he was just like, well, what are you really upset about? You didn't want more kids. First of all, I don't really have to explain nothing or break it down to you. I don't have to do that. You're not even my original OBGYN. I don't know who told you to make that decision. I didn't ask you to remove both of my tubes to prevent ovarian cancer. I didn't talk to my doctor about that. We didn't sit down and go over that. And that's not even what the paperwork says. You signed something totally different. And then I didn't sign it with you. You signed it by yourself. You don't see my name 5/31/2020 signature. You only see what he wrote in, what he decided to do, 5/31/2020. So I was like, so that's it. IVF or just nothing. He was like, next time, don't make decisions like that. I'm going to go ahead and walk out before I go to off in this office. Because you're not even my doctor.
I'm so sorry you had to go through that. It's incredibly frustrating and unfair. You trusted your doctor, and being misled about such a significant procedure is unacceptable. Your feelings of anger and betrayal are completely valid. It's important to seek legal advice to understand your options and hold the responsible parties accountable. Remember, you deserve support and to have your voice heard in this situation. Stay strong and take the necessary steps to protect your future and well-being.